Listen right now. Yes, you. There's a tiny old penny sitting somewhere in your house. Maybe in your pocket, maybe in a jar, maybe mixed with loose change, and you have no idea it could be worth a life-changing amount of money. I'm not joking. This is real. This is happening every single day. People are spending these coins like they're nothing, while collectors are quietly paying insane amounts behind the scenes. Do not spend these coins. These coins are hidden wealth. This is a silent fortune hiding in plain sight, and today, we're exposing the truth about the top 3 most valuable ultra-rare wheat pennies that could literally change your life overnight. Each coin we reveal gets rarer, more shocking, and more valuable. You need to watch till the end, because what you're about to see, most people miss completely. Check your pocket now, because you might already be holding serious money. Now, let's uncover the secret value behind the first coin. Coin number 1. Now listen to me very carefully, because what I'm about to tell you sounds impossible until it happens to someone standing exactly where you are right now, holding an ordinary-looking penny and thinking it is worth only one coin. Number 1. Now listen to me very carefully, because what I'm about to tell you sounds impossible until it happens to someone standing exactly where you are right now, holding an ordinary-looking penny and thinking it is worth only 1 cent somewhere, in a drawer, inside an old wallet, buried in a forgotten jar, or mixed into loose pocket change. There could be a 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark, quietly waiting to shock its owner. Most people would never stop to examine it. They would spend it without hesitation, slide it across a counter, or drop it into a machine without realizing that one small coin from the wartime era can sometimes attract serious collector attention far beyond face value. The dangerous part is that millions of people still ignore these coins because they believe age alone means nothing. But collectors know better. They know that certain details, certain surfaces, certain hidden differences, and certain rare minting mistakes can separate an ordinary coin from a coin that becomes unforgettable. The 1944 wheat penny without mint mark was struck in Philadelphia Mint, and because Philadelphia cents of that period usually carried no mint mark, this plain appearance often tricks people into thinking nothing special is there. Yet, that missing letter under the date is exactly what makes many people look twice, because it immediately identifies the Philadelphia issue. In 1944, the United States had just shifted away from the wartime steel cent experiment used in 1943, and the mint returned to copper-based alloy made largely from recycled wartime shell cases. That means every 1944 wheat penny carries not only monetary interest, but also direct historical connection to the final years of World War II, when metal priorities shaped coin production across America. What makes this coin fascinating is that its appearance often hides its importance. At first glance, many 1944 no mint mark wheat pennies look common because over 1.4 billion were produced, one of the highest mintages in the wheat cent series. But large mintage does not automatically mean every example is worthless. Condition changes everything. A heavily worn coin may only command a small premium, while a sharply preserved example with strong red original color can become dramatically more desirable to collectors. Even small differences in luster, strike sharpness, and surface preservation can push values upward because advanced collectors compete fiercely for coins that survived in exceptional state. When you hold one, the first thing to examine is the color. A genuine, normal 1944, no mint mark wheat penny should usually show a bronze or copper appearance rather than silver-gray steel. If the coin looks silver and reacts to a magnet, attention should become immediate because that may indicate one of the rarest mint errors in American coin history, a 1944 steel cent accidentally struck on leftover steel planchets from 1943. That possibility is why many collectors never ignore this date. The ordinary bronze version is common, but the wrong metal version is legendary. Only a tiny number of authenticated Philadelphia steel examples are known, and this is why the date continues to create excitement decades later. Collectors also study the lettering carefully. Look at Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and the date itself. If the letters appear doubled, unusually thick, or misaligned, that can signal a variety or mint error that increases attention. Small die cracks, repunched details, clipped planchets, lamination marks, and off-center strikes all matter. Sometimes what looks like damage is actually mint-created evidence from the striking process. A normal circulated coin may be modestly valued, but once an authentic mint error enters the conversation, the market changes immediately because error collectors and Lincoln Cent specialists often chase unusual examples aggressively. Another detail serious collectors inspect is surface originality. Cleaning destroys value more often than people realize. Many old owners polished coins hoping to improve appearance, but experienced buyers almost always prefer untouched surfaces, even if dark or uneven. A 1944 wheat penny with natural color, original texture, and honest circulation, where is often more respected than one that has been scrubbed bright. That is why, if someone finds one today, the safest move is not to clean it, not to polish it, and not to rub it. Even fingerprints and harsh wiping can lower collector confidence. The story becomes even more interesting because the 1944 no mint mark wheat penny sits at a historical crossroads in American coinage. In 1943, steel cents were made because copper was urgently needed for wartime industry. In 1944, recycled brass and copper returned, creating coins often described as shell case cents. That means your 1944 penny was struck from metal connected to wartime materials, giving it historical emotion that many collectors appreciate beyond simple market price. A coin this small carries war history, industrial transition, and one of the most famous mint error possibilities in United States coin collecting. Many viewers assume that because the coin has no mint mark it must be rare by default, but that is not true by itself. No mint mark simply means Philadelphia production for that year. The true value comes from condition, rarity of variety, and metal composition. A normal circulated example may only be worth a few cents, but a sharply preserved red coin in higher certified grades can sell far above face value because collectors building registry quality sets demand top examples. This is why checking details under light becomes so important. Tilt the coin slowly. Look for original red color, strong wheat lines on the reverse, and clean separation in Lincoln's coat and jawline. Weak details often indicate circulation wear, but stronger details suggest higher grade survival. Coins that spent decades untouched inside old albums or inherited collections often surprise people because they escaped the rough handling that destroyed countless others. The reverse side matters just as much. The wheat ears should be inspected carefully because stronger lines and fuller grain detail usually signal less wear. If the words 1 cent and United States of America remain bold with minimal flattening, collectors notice immediately. Edge quality matters too. Even small nicks can affect grade. In high-end collecting, one tiny mark can separate a coin worth modest money from one that commands far stronger offers. And then comes the moment that changes everything for anyone lucky enough to discover the rare, wrong metal version. A genuine 1944 wheat penny without mint mark struck on steel is one of the most famous transitional errors ever produced in American coinage, and authenticated examples have reached astonishing auction levels. One famous piece from this rare category has been associated with a highest recorded auction result of $265,000, a figure that completely changes how people view an old penny sitting unnoticed in ordinary change. That is why collectors always test suspicious silver-colored 1944 cents with a magnet and seek professional authentication before making assumptions. So, before you dismiss a 1944 wheat penny without mint mark as just another old coin, remember that hidden value often begins with coins people almost ignore. A normal bronze example still carries collector interest, wartime history, and steady demand, while the rare steel error belongs to a class of coins that can completely redefine what 1 cent means. Check every detail slowly, compare weight, examine color, and never rush to spend it, because the next time a plain-looking 1944 penny appears in your hand, it may deserve far more attention than most people would ever imagine. Coin number 2. What if I told you that one of the quietest coins ever made during wartime America could still be sitting in someone's hand right now, passed across a counter as ordinary change, while collectors instantly recognize that same tiny piece of copper as a coin worth far more than most people ever imagine? What if a single small letter under a date, just one tiny D, could completely change the way a penny is viewed? That is exactly why the 1945 wheat penny with the D mint mark continues to capture attention. Because millions of people still overlook it, while serious coin hunters stop immediately when they see that Denver mark beneath the ear. And the truth is simple. Many people have owned this coin without realizing it carried historical importance, collector demand, and in rare conditions, remarkable value. Before anyone spends a 1945 D-wheat penny without checking it carefully, they need to understand why this coin remains one of the most searched wartime Lincoln cents in modern collecting. The 1945 wheat penny with D mint mark was struck at the Denver Mint during one of the most historically important periods in American coinage. The war was ending, metal supply chains were still influenced by military demand, and every cent being produced carried the practical pressure of high-volume circulation. Denver struck more than 266 million of these pennies, which means the coin is not rare in basic numbers, but quantity alone never tells the full story. What matters is how many survived in exceptional condition, how many show rare, striking characteristics, and how many still retain the original sharp surfaces collectors want today. A 1945 D-wheat penny immediately stands apart because of the mint mark itself. Under the date, the small d identifies Denver production, and collectors often compare Denver coins from the 1940s to Philadelphia and San Francisco examples because Denver frequently delivered stronger strikes. That means details in Lincoln's hair, jawline, coat, and the wheat stalks on the reverse can appear sharper when preserved well. In circulated grades, this difference may seem small, but in higher-grade examples, it becomes a major reason collectors pay closer attention. Strong strike quality often creates stronger demand because premium collectors want coins that show the design exactly as intended. Another reason this coin remains important is its metal composition. Like other 1945 wheat cents, the 1945 D was struck using a bronze alloy made largely from wartime recycled materials. Many specialists refer to these as shell case-era cents because recycled brass from military shell casings contributed to production during and after wartime metal transitions. That historical connection gives the coin a deeper story beyond simple face value. A collector does not only see copper and design, they see a surviving artifact from one of the most transformative years in global history. When people find a 1945 D-wheat penny today, they often make one immediate mistake. They assume dark color means no value. But in coin collecting, color must be understood correctly. Brown examples are common, red-brown examples attract more interest, and full, red coins are where market excitement begins. A coin that still shows bright original red surfaces after decades immediately enters a more competitive category because most examples darken through handling, storage, and oxidation over time. That surviving red brilliance can multiply value dramatically when combined with high grade. Condition changes everything with this date. A worn 1945 D-wheat penny may trade for only a few cents, but once the coin reaches uncirculated levels, especially with strong red color, the conversation becomes completely different. Collectors examine Lincoln's cheek, jawline, coat folds, and ear detail closely. If those areas remain sharp, it suggests minimal wear. On the reverse, they inspect each wheat line, especially the upper grain tips, because that is where wear often appears first. Small differences invisible to casual eyes can separate a coin worth almost nothing from one worthy of auction attention. The edge of the coin also matters more than most viewers realize. A clean rim without major hits improves grading potential. Even one noticeable rim mark can reduce desirability. This is why serious collectors hold coins under angled light rather than direct flat light. Under angled light, hairlines, scratches, and surface disturbances become visible instantly. A coin that appears attractive in one position can reveal problems when tilted slowly. Then there are mint errors, and this is where many ordinary-looking 1945 D pennies become much more interesting. Collectors search for off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, lamination errors, and doubling in letters. Sometimes a coin appears damaged, but under magnification, it reveals a true mint-made abnormality. A clipped edge, unusual thickness, or doubled lettering can push collector demand far beyond ordinary examples because error specialists actively seek unusual wartime scents. One of the most important habits in coin collecting is never cleaning a wheat penny. A cleaned coin often loses natural texture, and once original surfaces are disturbed, experienced buyers usually notice immediately. Even a coin that looks brighter after cleaning often becomes less desirable than a naturally toned piece. A natural 1945 D wheat penny with untouched surfaces usually earns stronger collector trust than one that has been polished or rubbed. Many viewers also ask why some 1945 D pennies appear unusually sharp, while others look soft even when they are the same age. The answer often comes down to strike pressure and die condition at the mint. Early die states usually produce sharper details, while worn dies can leave softer lettering and weaker wheat lines. That means two coins from the same year and mint can look dramatically different depending on when they were struck during die life. Collectors also pay attention to how the D mint mark itself appears. On genuine pieces, it should show natural placement and shape matching known Denver strikes of that period. Altered mint marks exist in the coin market, so if the mint mark looks oddly shaped, too large, too small, or unusually placed, authentication becomes important. The safest approach for any suspiciously unusual example is comparison with verified references. Another reason this coin remains searched heavily is because wartime Lincoln cents attract new collectors faster than many other American coins. The design is familiar, the dates are recognizable, and many families still inherit jars filled with wheat pennies. That means the 1945 D often becomes one of the first coins someone studies seriously, especially after discovering that small details can create very different values. In ordinary circulated grades, most 1945 D wheat pennies remain affordable, but exceptional pieces become a different world entirely. A sharply preserved, full, red Denver example in elite grade can rise dramatically because very few survive with nearly flawless surfaces, original brilliance, and minimal marks. Registry collectors compete hardest in this top tier, and that is where prices stop looking ordinary and begin surprising people. And then comes the part that shocks almost everyone hearing about this coin for the first time. The highest recorded auction result often associated with an elite 1945 D wheat penny reached $242,000, a figure that completely changes how viewers think about a coin many still dismiss as common. That level belongs to an extraordinary example tied to extreme rarity in condition or exceptional mint circumstances, proving that even a wartime penny with a Denver mark can enter astonishing territory when everything aligns perfectly. While ordinary pieces are far lower in value, this record explains why collectors never ignore a sharp 1945 descent without examining every detail first. So, before you spend a 1945 wheat penny with D mint mark, look at it carefully because this coin is valuable far beyond what most people assume when condition, originality, and rare characteristics come together. One small copper coin from Denver can still carry history, collector demand, and the possibility of hidden value if the right details are present. The next time that tiny D appears under 1945, pause before letting it disappear into circulation. Because sometimes the coins people ignore become the ones collectors remember most. Coin number 3. Imagine reaching into an old drawer, pulling out a faded handful of pennies, and discovering that one tiny copper coin from 1950, a coin almost everyone would ignore without a second thought, carries a hidden story that collectors have chased for decades. Imagine that the smallest letter beneath the date, a simple D, could instantly separate an ordinary cent from a coin people study under magnification, protect carefully, and sometimes pay astonishing money to own. That is exactly why the 1950 wheat penny with D mint mark continues to attract attention, Because while millions were produced, only a tiny fraction survive in the kind of condition that turns a simple wheat cent into something collectors describe as genuinely important. Most people still spend these coins without checking them, and that is why understanding this date matters before another valuable piece disappears unnoticed into circulation. The 1950 D-Wheat penny was struck at the Denver Mint during the final years of the Lincoln Wheat Cent era, a period when American coinage was entering a new post-war chapter. By 1950, the country had moved beyond wartime emergency production, but wheat pennies still carried the same classic design that had become familiar across generations. On the front, Abraham Lincoln remains the central portrait, while the reverse still shows the iconic wheat ears framing 1 cent and United States of America. That design had already built decades of collector loyalty, and every new date added another piece to the growing historical timeline. More than 334 million 1950 D-Wheat pennies were struck, which means this coin is not rare in raw mintage numbers. But experienced collectors never stop at mintage alone, because survival quality matters far more than production totals. Millions entered circulation, but most were spent, worn, scratched, stored poorly, or cleaned over time. That means sharply preserved examples with original mint color are far scarcer than many people expect. A coin made in huge numbers can still become highly desirable when only a small percentage survives at the highest quality levels. The first thing collectors notice is the mint mark itself. The small d under the year identifies Denver production, and Denver coins from this period often show solid strike quality. That means details in Lincoln's hair, ear, coat, and jawline may appear sharper than weaker strikes from other mints. When a 1950 D penny retains crisp design lines, especially in higher grades, collectors immediately separate it from ordinary circulated examples. The difference may seem small to casual viewers, but advanced buyers often focus on exactly those tiny strike details when deciding value. Color becomes one of the biggest value factors. A brown coin may still have collector interest, but red-brown examples usually draw stronger attention, and full red pieces become the real prize. Full red means the coin still preserves much of its original mint brilliance, something difficult after decades of exposure to air, humidity, handling, and storage changes. Because copper reacts naturally over time, truly bright red 1950 D-Wheat pennies become increasingly scarce, and that scarcity drives competition among collectors building premium Lincoln cent sets. A viewer holding one of these coins should always inspect Lincoln's cheek and jawline first. Those areas show where quickly in circulation. If the cheek remains smooth but sharp, and the jawline is still clearly separated, the coin may have stronger grade potential. Then attention should move to the reverse. The wheat stalks tell an important story because fine grain lines near the tops often disappear first when circulation begins. A reverse with strong grain detail suggests the coin escaped heavy use. Another major factor is surface originality. Many old wheat pennies were cleaned by owners who believed bright metal increased value, but the opposite often happens. Cleaning removes natural texture, creates hairlines, and weakens collector confidence. A naturally toned 1950 D penny with original surfaces is usually more respected than an unnaturally bright example, even if dark, untouched surfaces often hold more market trust than polished copper. Collectors also examine the rim carefully. A full clean rim, without major hits, helps preserve grade strength. Small rim damage may not seem important to a beginner, but advanced grading standards consider every contact mark. One edge hit can separate a premium coin from a lower value example. This is why serious collectors rotate coins under angled light instead of looking only under direct overhead light. The year 1950 also matters because it sits close to the end of the wheat cent series. Only 8 years later, the reverse design changed to the Lincoln Memorial, making late wheat dates important to collectors completing historical runs. Many people who begin collecting wheat pennies eventually focus closely on late 1940s and early 1950s dates because these often survive in better condition but still contain surprisingly valuable high-grade examples. Rare varieties create another level of excitement. Some 1950 D pennies show die cracks, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, lamination flaws, or doubling in lettering. What appears ordinary at first can become very interesting under magnification. A small die crack through lettering, a shifted strike, or an unusual edge can turn a modest coin into a specialized collector target because mint errors attract a separate market entirely. The D mint mark itself deserves close attention too. On authentic coins, the mint mark has a known size and placement relative to the date. Altered coins exist, so unusual spacing or odd shape should always raise caution. Serious collectors compare suspicious examples with verified references before assuming rarity. A natural Denver mint mark should blend correctly into the surface rather than appearing added or disturbed. Another reason this coin stays popular is accessibility. Unlike famous early key dates that many people never encounter, 1950 D-wheat pennies still appear in old family jars, inherited coin albums, and forgotten bankrolls. That accessibility keeps search demand high because viewers know there is still a realistic chance of finding one. But finding one is only the beginning. Recognizing whether it has premium condition is what changes everything. High-grade certified examples command the strongest attention because they combine sharp strike, clean surfaces, and surviving mint color. Registry collectors who compete for top-ranked Lincoln sets often push prices upward when elite coins appear. At that level, even a common date wheat cent can become unexpectedly expensive because top-condition supply becomes extremely thin. And then comes the part that changes how people think about this date entirely. While ordinary circulated examples remain modest, the highest level 1950 D-wheat penny tied to extraordinary preservation has been associated with auction levels reaching $190,000. That number shocks people because it proves that a coin many dismiss as ordinary can enter an entirely different financial category when everything aligns: color, grade, strike, and rarity of survival. One exceptional coin can completely redefine how this date is viewed by collectors worldwide. So before spending a 1950 wheat penny with D mint mark, pause and inspect every detail carefully, because this coin is valuable far beyond face value when preserved well. A tiny copper cent from Denver can still carry serious collector interest, especially if original red color, sharp wheat lines, and strong surfaces remain intact. The next time you see that small D under 1950, remember that hidden value often survives inside coins people almost never think twice about. Before you leave, understand this clearly. The 3 wheat pennies you saw today are not just old coins. They are proof that hidden money still exists in ordinary places, and every single day, people unknowingly spend coins that collectors would fight to own. A single wheat penny sitting quietly in a drawer, inside a forgotten jar, or mixed with pocket change could be the coin that changes everything. That is why serious collectors never ignore old pennies, because one small detail, one mint mark, one rare error, or one specific year can turn 1 cent into a shocking amount of money. And the most important part is this: these are not the only coins hiding incredible value. There are still more rare coins moving through circulation right now, and many people miss them because they simply do not know what to look for. The next coin you receive in change could be worth far more than its face value, but only if you know the hidden signs before it disappears forever. If this video opened your eyes, then do not stop here, because my video about Eisenhower dollar coin reveals even more shocking coin values, including coins many people still have at home without realizing their true worth. Watch that video next, because some of those dollar coins have stunned collectors with unbelievable prices at auction. And if you want more rare coin discoveries, subscribe to Coins Most Valuable, like this video, share it with someone who saves old coins, and comment below which wheat penny surprised you the most, because your comment could help another viewer discover hidden treasure before it is accidentally spent.